Discipline is destiny. Chapter 1. Discipline is key. Today, many of us have access to a quality of life that's unprecedented in human history. We're afforded freedoms, opportunities, and luxuries that would be unfathomable to even our most recent ancestors. And yet, it seems that many of us still live unhappy lives. So, why are so many of us often left feeling unsatisfied and unfulfilled? Best-selling author Ryan Holiday, an advocate for the ancient teachings of Stoic philosophy, believes he has the answer. He writes that it's precisely this life of privilege that tempts us towards dependency, dysfunction, and imbalance. These pleasures and distractions pull us away from what's truly important and prevent us from achieving what we're capable of. This raises the question, is a life of freedom and opportunity a bad thing? Of course not. Freedom is a human right, but Holiday argues that it's only a true blessing when it's accompanied by discipline. In his book Discipline is Destiny, Holiday explains what discipline entails: self-control, moderation, strength, consistency, restraint, patience, and commitment. It is only through exercising discipline that you can live a balanced life, working hard to become the best person you can be. This emphasis on the importance of discipline is key to Stoic philosophy and dates back to the ancient world. Back then, Holiday's understanding of discipline was typically referred to as temperance within a set of 4 cardinal virtues. Still to this day, these virtues are almost universally adopted across Christianity, Buddhism, and nearly any other worldview you could imagine. They're intended to act as a kind of compass that guides our actions. Holiday agrees that all 4 virtues are keys to living a good life, but he insists that discipline, or temperance, is particularly important. Discipline gives us the strength to pursue what's important to us. It also gives us the self-control to avoid overindulging in the many pleasures and distractions that threaten to steer us off course. Essentially, discipline helps us fight the battle between what we can do and what we should do, in order to live the best possible life. With the help of historical examples, the next chapters explore Holiday's thoughts on how to apply discipline to the body, then to the temperament, and finally, to the soul. By the end, you'll have a clear idea of the simple things you can do to become more disciplined and feel more fulfilled in your own life. Chapter 2. Physical discipline. To introduce more discipline into your life, Holiday suggests first focusing on your body, schedule, and surroundings. Bodily discipline involves treating the human body as if it's a high-end race car. It needs to be tuned and fueled by taking active steps to develop fitness, health, ability, and endurance. This will allow you to meet the physical demands of the path you've chosen to follow and withstand any bumps in the road you might encounter. As a child, for example, Theodore Roosevelt was described as sickly and frail with debilitating asthma. But by embracing a strenuous life full of exercise, he built the strength and resilience that allowed him to become a decorated war hero and, eventually, president. Holiday also strongly recommends fueling your body with a healthy, balanced diet. After all, food is what keeps your body running, and you want it to run well. Holiday points out that the body is a great training ground for improving discipline elsewhere, too. The more you practice discipline over your body, the easier it will be to show mental discipline in the face of all that life throws at you. Along with keeping your body in good working order, it's also essential to maintain productive everyday habits. While everybody's ideal schedule depends on personal circumstances, Holiday believes the most important thing to do is wake up early and attack the dawn. To illustrate why, Holiday looks towards award-winning novelist Toni Morrison, who had to attend to many duties as a single, working mother. Waking up early allowed Morrison to write while her mind was still fresh, before she had to attend to her parental and professional duties. This doesn't mean that rising early is easy. Even the Stoic Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius confessed that it was a struggle more than 2,000 years ago. But he also found a solution, practicing so much gratitude for the life he was given that he felt compelled to make the most of it. Think of how lucky you are. Be glad to be awake. Feel the joy of being able to do what you love. Cherish the time. But most of all, use it, Holiday writes. Along with waking up early, Holiday also stresses the positive impact a good night's sleep has on our mood and ability to function. That's why many armed forces participate in sleep training and monitor sleep cycles to ensure they are always at peak performance. Training is the key word here. Getting enough rest doesn't always come naturally. It takes work and discipline, but it's also essential for success. Additionally, your surrounding environment is also an area Holiday recommends exercising discipline. Put simply, Holiday instructs us to keep the environment we live and work in clean and organized. To explain why, he invites us to imagine being a chef. It's a stressful, time-sensitive, and potentially hazardous job that often requires intense focus. That's why chefs stress the importance of mise en place, prepping everything meticulously before getting down to work. It encourages clear thinking and better workflow, while minimizing unnecessary accidents and frustrations when performing tasks. Similarly, life can be stressful, time-sensitive, and potentially hazardous, too. So, it follows that we should all think about mise en place, clean your desk, organize your files, wash your dishes, make your bed, and throw out what you no longer need. Chapter 3. Discipline over your temperament. Once you've established good discipline over your body, you must then work on exercising discipline over your temperament. This means learning to manage your thoughts, feelings, and impulses, and keeping them in check before they get you into trouble. For Holiday, this is of the utmost importance. He insists that it doesn't matter how talented we are or how early we wake up. We'll never live a successful, contented life if we constantly fall victim to our immediate whims, biases, and moods. Instead, we'll only succeed in upsetting and harming ourselves and the people we care about. Applying discipline over your temperament involves slowing down and using the time to apply reason. Holiday emphasizes that between every stimulus and its response, every piece of information and our decision, there is space. Instead of making assumptions or taking offense, use this space to take a breath, think, and understand what actions will benefit you most. If you're feeling attacked or offended by someone, remember that you don't always have to engage and fire back with a knee-jerk, impulsive response. Holiday uses Ruth Bader Ginsburg as an example, who served on the U.S. Supreme Court for 27 years, advocating for gender equality and women's rights. When questioned on the secret to her success and longevity, she advised that it helps to be a little bit deaf. Essentially, when faced with irrelevant provocations and criticisms, she refused to entertain them and focused on her own priorities instead. Along with biting your tongue, Holiday advises us to be comfortable with saying less more generally, too. Archimedes, one of the greatest minds in the ancient world, once said that an expert on speaking also knows when not to do so. This is because when we speak too much, others will lose interest, or we betray our own ignorance. Scarcity, however, creates the impression of value. The less that is spoken, the more that is often heard. The former Chancellor of Germany, Angela Merkel, is known for hardly using any adjectives to embellish her statements. This means that when she speaks, people take her seriously because nothing is superfluous. Every word is there for a reason. Another key element of discipline and steady temperament is prioritizing your own time and establishing clear boundaries. So many things demand our energy and attention, but saying yes to everything will stretch us too thin and exhaust us. The ancient Stoics had a clever saying, "If you don't know where you're sailing, no wind is favorable." This means having a clear understanding of your goals is key. That way, you'll know what moves will lead you to success. But this also means that you'll need the discipline to ignore any distractions that could lead you astray. What may surprise you is that perfectionism must be avoided at all costs if you want to be disciplined with your time. Holiday believes that perfectionism is a vice, narcissism, and cowardice in fancy packaging that can make you spiral into paralysis. The only way to achieve anything is to stay on course and take one step at a time until you can say, "This is finished." Chapter 4. Discipline over your soul. Command over your body and temperament is vital to a disciplined, successful life. But, does it guarantee that life will feel complete? Not quite. That's why Holiday highlights one final area that requires discipline, one which he refers to as the soul. Discipline of the soul means learning to think beyond yourself and trying to elevate others. Holiday stresses the importance of being kind, forgiving, and tolerant. As Benjamin Franklin said, "Search others for their virtues, thyself for thy vices." In other words, while we should hold ourselves to the highest standard, it's unfair to expect the same from others. Not everyone has chosen the path you have, and if you don't respect people's life choices, you'll only upset them and frustrate yourself. However, that's not to say you can't support people if they are open to help. In fact, a vital part of living a fulfilling life of discipline is carrying the load for others when you can, especially when you're in a position of power and leadership. Holiday recounts a story of U.S. Secretary of Defense, Jim Mattis, covering guard duty for a soldier whom he felt ought to be at home with his family. Holiday uses this example to stress that the discipline it takes to be selfless in a position of power is key to being a successful, accomplished leader. Accomplished, disciplined people can also elevate others by acting as role models and passing their good discipline on. You can show the people around you what good strength, commitment, and consistency look like by giving 100% every day, and you can show them what self-control, restraint, and moderation look like by resisting temptations and provocations. Thinking beyond yourself is also important because it can prevent your ambition from taking over. Ambition is useful, but without the discipline to keep it in check, it can deprive you of ever feeling like you have enough, and it can harm others, too. Holiday calls to mind conquerors like Napoleon and Julius Caesar, whose constant need for more led to their demise. He reminds us of all the innocent victims caught up in their exploits, and the poor example they set that countless others have followed. Holiday believes that ultimately you have to conquer your appetite and ego, which means being comfortable with giving away power. So, consider the responsibilities you have that others may benefit from taking on. Think about decisions and conversations where others could have valuable input. By doing this, not only are you elevating others, but you're also taking the pressure off yourself by accepting help and support. This will make you calmer, kinder, more resilient, and more satisfied with your ever-changing life circumstances. One of the last pieces of advice Ryan Holiday offers when it comes to exercising discipline is this: be kind to yourself. Of course, the point of self-discipline is to push yourself to be better, but that's not going to happen if you treat yourself terribly. The main ideas, Chapter 4. Fulfillment involves thinking beyond rigid personal standards and ambitions. Be supportive of others, set a good example, and learn to give power away. Keep your ambition in check and be kind and forgiving to yourself and others.